Hello and welcome to the third part of this lecture series of SVM. In this part of the lecture, we will work on problem and use SVM to develop the model. First, we will recap the SVM in one slide and then continue with the problem. I understand that you are aware of Python and you have installed Python on your laptop. I wish that you can download the database which we are going to use for this problem. Okay, so let's start our journey. Well, as we discussed before, SVM works for mapping data to a high dimensional feature space so that data points can be categorized, even when the data are not linearly separable. A separator could be drawn as a hyperplane. With this note, let us go ahead with the problem. We will work on a problem which is based on dataset that contain datasets consist of 11 attributes. The dataset contains records which are medically verified potential cancer patients. Each record is having class as either benign type or malignant type. Our aim is to develop a model using SVM algorithm which can be trained using available record sets, and then we test the model and find its accuracy. Dataset use is available publicly from UCI machine learning repository and the link is given at the bottom of the slide. You can download the dataset from this particular link. Well, now let us discuss the roadmap of our problem. We will work on this problem in 5 steps. In this lecture, I will cover first 2 steps and balance 3 steps we will discuss in following lecture. First step is we load the dataset. We will load the dataset from the link which I have already mentioned in previous slide. Second step is data wrangling. It is related to pre-processing the dataset. Our prediction attribute is class attribute and rest all attributes are our predictor attributes. We make sure that our predictor attributes are of numeric type. We also make sure that the no records from dataset is having null or missing value. Third step is we split the dataset in train and test datasets. Fourth step is we develop SVM modeling, and finally, in fifth step, we evaluate our model. In this lecture, we will cover first 2 steps and balance 3 steps we will cover in coming lecture. I recommend you to understand the following coding slides properly and try it your own. It will give you better idea and clarity of thoughts about implementation of SVM. Now we talk about the first step, and initially we are required to import certain libraries. Okay, so let's begin the coding. We are using Python for implementing SVM. I'm using Jupyter Notebook for implementing this code. You can use any Python IDE like PyCharm, Spider, etc. First step is to import required library files. You might not aware of all libraries which I have used here. For your understanding, I would like to introduce these library files. First is Pandas. It is abbreviation of Python data analysis. It contains many important functions which are used for dataset handling. NumPy is general purpose array processing package. We will implement some important functions from it. Matplotlib is plotting library used for plotting graphs. It is basically developed using MATLAB. sklearn library provide supervised and unsupervised learning algorithms. It is built upon SciPy, known as scientific Python. It is essential to include SciPy before we import sklearn. We have created objects from the specified library and packages. If you refer second last line of the code, you will observe that we have kept matplotlib inline. It is because we want the graph to be displayed on same screen instead of displaying separately. Now, our next step is to load the database. This is our first step after importing all required library files. As you see, the dataset consists of 11 attributes. Except the first attribute, that is ID, we will use restall for the purpose of modeling. Our dataset is called cellsamples.csv. It is a CSV file and contains approximately 700 records. All attributes, first and last except the first and the last one, specify feature of cells tested for individual patient. The last attribute class contains categorical data which is either benign value equal to 2 or malignant value equal to 4. We will load the dataset in DataFrame. So here our DataFrame name is cell underscore df using function read underscore csv. And then we display first 5 records from the data frame using head function. As you see, the ID is patient identification number. Class represent diagnosis value for concerned record as benign value equal to 2 or malignant value equal to 4 as confirmed by medical procedure. Restall features from clumps to meet contain numerical value graded as from 1 to 10, with 1 being the closest to benign. We consider 2 as a benign and 4 as a malignant for this data set. Okay, so now let us plot scatter plot using the data frame cell underscore df. As mentioned in this code, we plot the scatter plot for first 50 records from class equal to 4. That means malignant, type equal to scatter, and graph is plotted for clump on x-axis and unisize on y-axis. The malignant will be plotted using dark blue dots. Similarly, we superimpose the plot for benign on same graph. That's why we use ax equal to ax. The scatter plot for benign for first 50 record with color equal to yellow is drawn and superimpose on graph plotted for malignant. Finally, we display the graph using plt.show. Plt is object of plotting the graph for the plotting of the graph. Okay, so let's go ahead now. As a result of displaying the graph using plt.show, we can visualize the plot for class equal to 2, that is benign, in form of yellow dots, and class equal to 4, that is malignant, in form of dark blue dots. This graph is representing first 50 records of the dataset. You can display it for more records as well. It is visible that both classes are not having any common boundary. They are not linearly separable. This graph helps us to understand the distribution of data points. We also understand what kind of classification is possible for this dataset with a linear separation or nonlinear separation. Now, our second step, data wrangling or data cleaning. Data wrangling is a very important step and it needs a lot of attention and proper focus. This is a pre-processing step of data. It is a pre-processing step where we keep required attributes and remove those which are not significant. We also analyze all records and check for missing data as well as the data type of all attributes. Here we check the data types of all attributes using D types. It shows all attributes and their related data types. We observe that bare nuke attribute contain some null values. So we remove those records first, or what we can do is we can change or provide certain value over there using either median value or mean value or average value. These are certain approaches to maintain the null values or to replace the null values. So we change its data type to integer type because it was an object type. So we convert it into integer type, and now we check the data types of the data set. As a result, we observe that all our attributes are of data type integer now. Just go through the code. In first line, we change all attributes to numeric, and then in second line, we convert the attribute bare nuke to integer data type. Bare nuclei is one of the feature of the cell. Finally, we check the data frame and we can see that all our attributes are of integer type. Finally, it is time to select our prediction and predictors. That means the feature sets. Here, y is the prediction, that is a dependent variable which we are looking forward to predict, whereas x is the feature set or independent variable which we are using to predict the class y, that is malignant or benign. Thus, y is attribute class and x will be attribute of dataset except the attribute class. Now, our feature set will contain all records except class field. This feature set will act as x-axis. Class field will act as a y-axis. Here, we create a data frame feature underscore df that contain all attributes except id and class. Then we create x contain the data in array form and display first 5 data sets. Now it is time to define y-axis. Prediction is the value of class that is benign having value 2 or malignant having value 4. We want the model to predict the value of class that is benign equal to 2 or malignant equal to 4. As this field can have one of only 2 possible values, we need to change its measurement level to reflect these. We can see the first 5 elements of array which depict the value of class which is y-axis. Here our second step is over. Now our feature set x and prediction y are ready. So here is our code summary. We worked so far on first 2 steps of our roadmap to implement SVM. Kindly go through this code. You can even pause this video and write down the code for your reference. I'm sure that you will try this code and execute it. It will give you better idea of implementation. This is second part of the code. So we conclude this lecture. We work on first 2 steps. I'm sure that you will work on this code and execute it. In coming lectures, we will work on the remaining 3 steps and complete our implementation of SVM algorithm. Just read the lecture. If you like it, click on like. You can subscribe as well. Let us share the knowledge and grow together. Have a great day. Thank you.